Welcome back. This is Transition on Atlantic Television Network. Now the rest of our stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima has assured Nigerians that the current administration of President Bola Tinubu will continue to provide the values of the democratic systems by fixing major weaknesses of the economy, securing communities, fighting corruption, and strengthening the independence of the judiciary and improving national cohesion. Shettima stated this in Abuja at the National Conference on Strengthening Democracy in Nigeria with the theme Strengthening Nigeria's Democracy, Pathways to Good Governance and Political Integrity, organized by the African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development. Shettima, who was represented by his special advisor on political issues, Hakeem Baba Ahmed, said while democracy is not a perfect system, it is still considered the best form of government compared to others, adding that the transition from a broken path and a promising future will not be without a price, and we remain focused on easing the pain and ensuring that all eyes off the goals. According to him, this administration has a major interest in the quality of the democratic system and a key responsibility in improving the elements that constitute the democratic system, and it is our duty to continually police its effectiveness and impact on the lives of all Nigerians. He also said there is a huge responsibility on the shoulders of elected leaders in Nigeria to market democracy in terms of the quality of governance, their conduct, and disposition towards the rule of law and respect for the welfare and security of citizens. Analysts say leaders have an exceptionally demanding role among politicians considering Nigerians' large population that comes with high expectation from its citizens. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Atlantic Blowouts, a public policy analyst, Young Ayo Tamuno, presidential candidates should prioritize assessing their health to ensure they are physically capable of the demands of the role.
No country by any definition
of
the people towards government is also very high, and so we expect that anybody who aspires becomes a candidate and wins the election, of becoming a president, must also first examine himself, examine his health to see how fit and proper that person is in terms of health.
Okay.
So health is a major part of but again, as nature will have it, you can't take you may not be able to predict what could happen in the life of a particular president.
Okay.
When he came in, he took ill, and then at some point, they said it's a Jubril of Sudan. All kinds of narratives were in the public domain, and one sympathizes with him because he can't be alive, and people are saying this is Jubril of Sudan, fabricating.
On the other hand, a public affairs analyst, Mufasa Eyimosan, congratulates former President Muhammadu Buhari on his recent health improvements.
As head of state in 1982 or thereabouts, and he was eager to come back. Perhaps I'm sure he must have understood the exigencies of office and the pressure that will accompany that office. So for me, I think coming to tell us today that he feels better and all of that, it's just a way to tell Nigerians that if I had known, I would not have ventured into that.
This is coming after the former president Muhammadu Buhari said his health has improved, adding that he looks better since leaving office in 2023. Analyst claims the Ijaw National Congress is misled about the true Ohaneze Ndigbo organization. Speaking on Asante Television Network program Open Conversation, political analyst Nze Nze said the authentic Ohaneze Ndigbo led by Senator John Mbata wouldn't interfere in River State politics.
In Enugu, while election was going on, a socio-cultural organization, backing the entire Igbo race all over the world. Right. And anybody who speaks down on that organization speaks down on Igbo people. And that, I don't think the INC is really mistaking the true Ohaneze. So to put this, the facts straight, it is not Ohaneze Ndigbo. It is just a group of persons who want to, fight against the emergence of the revered President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide, on distinguished Senator Azota Mbata. It is just people who...
He urges law enforcement agencies to identify and stop impersonators to prevent damage to the Ohaneze Ndigbo organization. This is coming after the Ijaw National Congress has urged Ohaneze Ndigbo to refrain from provocative statements that could hit potential candidates. Omoyele Sowore has been detained at the IRT detention facility at Abattoir in Abuja after rejecting the bail conditions set for his release. Sowore, who was taken away in a police van with heavily armed personnel at around 5 p.m. on Monday, had earlier deemed the bail conditions outrageous and demanded either an unconditional release or a release on self-recognition. Sowore's lawyer, Deji Adeyanju, accompanied by Marshal Abubakar, explained that Sowore was required to provide a level 17 civil servant, such as a permanent secretary, as a guarantor for his release, adding that the police demanded that Sowore surrendered his passports, which Adeyanju described as an excessive condition. Adeyanju criticized the police, stating Sowore has been very vocal in criticizing the Inspector General of Police for overstaying his term, stressing that even for terrorism-related charges, it is rare to impose such stringent bail conditions for administrative bail, saying it is nothing but a calculated attempt to persecute and hold Sowore for his vocal criticism of the IGP's extended tenure. Sowore had been invited to the Force Intelligence Headquarters in Abuja over allegations that included resisting and obstructing public officers, disobedience to lawful orders, cyber stalking, and actions allegedly aimed at preventing arrest. These allegations stemmed from a viral video Sowore posted, which claimed extortion by police officers at a checkpoint in Lagos. However, Pan-Yoruba socio-cultural and socio-political organization Afine-Fire has commended legal luminary Are Afe Babalola San for agreeing to withdraw the defamation cases instituted against human rights activist and lawyer Dele Farotimi. Afine-Fire gave the commendation while dissecting the matter between Babalola and Farotimi that had been locked in a legal battle since last year, following Babalola's complaints that Farotimi defamed him in a book titled Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. Following Babalola's petition, the police had arrested Farotimi and arraigned him before two courts in Ekiti, and consequently Farotimi was charged with criminal defamation before the Ekiti State Magistrates Court in Ado, Ekiti, and was also arraigned for alleged cyberbullying before the Federal High Court in Ado, Ekiti. The activist was remanded for 20 days before perfecting his bail and regaining freedom on December 24, 2024, while Babalola on Monday morning announced that he would be withdrawing the court cases against Farotimi following the intervention of Yoruba monarchs led by the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, reacting to the developments in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Jare Ajayi Afinefire, who had earlier called for Faroti's reports. Petroleum products marketers have expressed fears that the inabilities in the prices of premium motor spirits, otherwise known as petrol, may lead to an epileptic PMS supply in filling stations. The marketers said, "Don't feel filling stations owners are now hesitant to lift the products from depots." National Publicity Secretary of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Chinedu Ukadike, said the traders lose billions of naira whenever the prices of petroleum products like PMS and diesel are reduced, adding that the Dangote refinery entered the market in early 2024 and crashed the price of diesel, forcing marketers to sell below their cost of purchase and running into huge debts. According to him, there is enough supply of petrol at the Dangote refinery and the depot of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, but many filling stations are scared of buying it due to the sudden price change. Speaking on the plans of some marketers to import PMS because it is relatively cheaper than buying locally, the national president of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Billy Gillis Harry, said the association had decided to stop fuel importation to boost local refining capacity. He called on the government to support retail outlet owners with single-digit interest loans in order to prevent job losses. Central Bank of Nigeria has directed participants in the foreign exchange markets to submit compliance reports on adherence to the Nigerian FX code by January 31, 2025. The directive is part of efforts to strengthen ethical practices, governance, and transparency in the markets. The Nigeria FX Code, which became effective on December 2, 2024, sets out principles to good practice to ensure a robust, fair, and transparent foreign exchange market, and also applies to authorized dealers licensed under the CBN Act of 2007, the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act of 2020, and other entities engaged in wholesale FX business in Nigeria. The Apex Bank has mandated market participants to conduct a self-assessment and submit detailed reports on their level of compliance with the FX code, and the report must be endorsed by the institution's board of directors and include an implementation plan for addressing any gaps in compliance. Following the initial deadline of January 31, market participants will be required to fill quarterly compliance reports with the Financial Markets Department of the Central Bank. These reports are expected to be submitted within 14 days after the end of each calendar quarter, with the first set due by March 31, 2025. To ensure adherence to the code, the Central Bank has outlined enforcement mechanisms, including monetary penalties as provided under the CBN Act of 2007 and the Bofia Act of 2020. The measures are designed to address any non-compliance and to promote integrity in the foreign exchange markets. The Nigeria FS Code is modeled on the Global FS Code and incorporates global best practices while addressing the specific dynamics of the Nigerian FX markets. The code covers key areas such as ethics, governance, execution, information sharing, risk management, and settlement processes. Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, in collaboration with the International Center for Environmental Health and Development and other stakeholders, has strategized to review the national gender policy on agriculture. The goal was to promote sustainable agricultural practices, empower farmers, and improve food security across the nation. This is according to a statement released by the Chief Information Officer at the FMAFS, Erema Antonia, on Tuesday. According to the statement, the review was discussed during a workshop held recently in Abuja. Permanent Secretary at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Marcus Ogunbiyi, represented by Director of Special Duties Kashala Damaturu, said the essence of the meeting was to address the policy's 5-year lifespan, which is now due for review. He said the policy has been operational since its launch on 31st October 2019, and it is pivotal in addressing the unique challenges faced by rural women farmers who are the backbone of the agriculture sector, and also stressed the ministry's alignment with ICEHD's mission and the importance of collaboration in creating meaningful change. In her address, Damaturu said, reviewing the gender policy was not merely an administrative task, but a crucial opportunity to empower women in agriculture, a call to action for all stakeholders, government, private sector, civil society, and development partners to work collaboratively and purposefully towards translating the policy into impactful change. Nigerian Stock Exchange experienced a surge of 795 billion naira in market capitalization on the first trading day of the week, bringing the total market capitalization to 64.44 trillion naira. The all-share index increased by 0.79%, gaining 807.65 points to close at 1,418.94. This represents a 1-week gain of 2% and a 4-week gain of 2.24%. The market breathed closed positive as 38 equities gained while 30 equities declined in share prices. In terms of volume, Access Holding recorded that the highest trading volume was with 51 million shares, followed by FCNB Group with 40.3 million shares, Sterling Bank with 38.9 million shares, and Zenith Bank with 33.2 million shares. The banking index saw a significant rise of 4.71%, while the pension index increased by 2.1%, and the consumer goods index rose by 1.74%. Still ahead. Barely 1 week after his inauguration as the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump has hinted on the possibility of contesting for a third term. Trump said he has raised the finances to run for a third term as U.S. President. The U.S. Constitution does not permit anyone to be elected president more than twice. Johnson, a former constitutional lawyer, chuckled at Trump's comments, while other lawmakers at the event also had a good laugh when Trump previously dismissed insinuations that he would seek. Lightheartedly hinted that he would be open to a third term during a chat with Republican lawmakers. Court in Istanbul has arrested a talent manager for allegedly attempting to overthrow the government in connection with the 2013 Gezi protest. Ayese Barim was detained, and a number of actors and actresses whom she represented were summoned to police to give testimony. Barim is accused of having motivated the artist she represents to join the anti-government protest that sparked in Gezi Park in central Istanbul. Barim denied the charges and said she went to the protest in 2013 once or twice, but did not encourage anyone to take part. Local media quoted her as saying to the prosecutor, "The largely peaceful protest in early summer 2013 against a shopping mall construction in Istanbul's Gezi Park turned into a nationwide demonstration, and the government responded with a harsh crackdown and labeled the protest as an attempted coup." Barim is also accused of close contact with Gezi trial defendants, including philanthropist Osman Gavala, while the human rights organizations criticize the Turkish government for politically manipulating the Gezi trials. And now in sports news. Victor Boniface is missing from Bayer Leverkusen training today amid talks over a possible move to Al Nassr. The Saudi Pro League club is looking to bring Boniface to replace Anderson Talisca. Talisca has flown to Istanbul to sign for Fenerbahce, and talks between Al Nassr and Leverkusen are now progressing to strike a deal. Boniface only signed a contract extension with the Bundesliga champions until 2026 last week. The deal makes the Super Eagles forward one of the top earners at Leverkusen. This despite renewing his contract. 24-year-old is however not considered unseeable by the Bundesliga champions. The Leverkusen will demand at least 50 million euros from interested suitors. Ademola Lookman has been ruled out of Atalanta's UEFA Champions League clash with Barcelona. Lookman sustained a knee injury in Atlanta's Serie A clash against Como last weekend. The Nigeria international is expected to be sidelined for a number of weeks, and the winger's return dates will be determined after more tests in the upcoming days. Lookman was on target in LAD's 5-0 rout of Storm Graz last week and has scored 4 goals and provided 2 assists in 6 appearances in the competition this season. Atlanta will be away to Barcelona at the new camp on Wednesday. Uganda head coach Paul Put has acknowledged the strength of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The Cranes are drawn to Group C of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations with Nigeria, Tunisia and Tanzania. The East Africans defeated the Super Eagles 2-1 in their only meeting in the competition at the 1978 edition hosted by Ghana, while Paul admitted that his team will need self-belief to pull through in the group. Tanzania will face the Super Eagles in their last group game in Fez on Tuesday, December 30. And now to entertainment news. Gospel singer Timileyin Ajayi, the suspected murderer of Salome Adidu, has pleaded not guilty to the killing of the National Youth Service Corps member who died a few weeks ago at his residence. The Nasarawa State Police Command arrested him on January 12th and charged him to court for culpable homicide punishable with death. According to the police, the suspect pleaded not guilty to the killing of Adidu when he was arraigned before Justice Simeon Abuki at Court 2 in Lafia on Monday. The officer in charge legal of the Nasarawa State Police Command, Stanley Nwafuago, told the newsmen after the court proceedings that despite his plea of not guilty to the charge, the police would continue to follow up on the case until justice is served. On his part, counsel for the defendant, Joseph Tuku, assured him to follow up on the case for his client Ajayi until the law is fulfilled, and while responding to how the case will be proved despite the earlier comments made by his clients on the matter. And that's the size of the package for today on Transition. Thanks for watching. You can follow us on our social media platform on Twitter at TVNet, on Facebook and YouTube.